Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Nick and Knarf, two brothers in Tucson, bringing you music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, and sometimes even beyond the great ocean, all the way to England. We are talking about, Frankie?
Nick Drake.
Nick Drake.
One of the tragic figures of rock and roll, not even rock and roll, folk, pop, just contemporary music. An incredibly gifted songwriter, performer, died tragically young. He died only, died in 1974, born in 1948, so he was what?
26. 26.
Yeah, 26 years old. He died of an overdose. He suffered from severe depression most all of his life. And one night he ended up taking 35 pills, antidepressant. Yeah, 35? Really sad. His mother discovered his body the next morning. It was tragic. But this is an artist who was on the rise at the time, but because of his own internal conflicts with his depression and everything, he started gaining traction as a creative force in British folk music and stuff. And only made 3 albums, and all 3 of these albums are on the Rolling Stone 500 all-time greatest albums. You've got the album 5 Leaves Left, which is going to be one of the songs we draw us from this album, 5 Leaves Left. It was his first record from 1969. Rose to number 283 on Rolling Stone's 500 albums of all time.
Wow.
Then his second album, Brighter Later, which we're going to do a cut from 1971, is ranked number 245 on the top 500 of Rolling Stone. And then one of his most famous albums, because it's the last one, and a lot of songs have been done from this in films and other stuff, it's called Pink Moon. And that's from 1972, and it rose to number 300 on Rolling Stone's top 500.
And he looks like my grandson, Ethan.
That's right. He does look a little bit like my nephew and his grandson, but what a talented, gifted man. He was a poet, really. He was drawn to the work of William Blake and W.B. Yeats, influenced his work. He was a photographer, highly sensitive human being, but unfortunately struggled with depression all his life. But the legacy, though it's small, it is so admired and respected, and his legacy has grown over time. He's just grown in the minds of people who are finally discovering him. I didn't discover him till maybe a decade ago. I don't know where I was, but I had never heard of Nick Drake until I saw some video or a movie featuring Nick Drake's music in it, and I was curious, and I found out more. And he's just an amazing talent, and I hope you're going to enjoy this tribute to this highly talented, gifted artist.
And guys, just a moment of seriousness. You know, suicide, even now, especially among teens, is at an all-time high. Make sure you reach out. Make sure you pray for. Make sure you converse with those who might be going through some troubling times, because we all know someone who may have taken their own life or is considering it.
And I'm sure we all might have passed through an age of depression. I know I certainly did a couple of times in my life.
Just a kind word sometimes can turn someone's head in the opposite direction. So.
But the 2 songs we selected are, I have a number of songs I admire so much by him, but one is a more happy, upbeat song, and the other one is a moody, mystical piece called Riverman. It's just magical. You got to check out the lyrics to the songs when you see them. Anyway, the first one from Nick Drake is from his 1969 debut album, Brighter Later, and the song is called One of These Things First. And
I forgot to tell you, he's got a great first name.
Nick. That's right. I think his middle name is Knarf. Nick Knarf Drake. No, it's not. But anyway, I hope you're going to enjoy this beautiful, fun tune. This one's called One of These Things First. Here's Nick Drake.
I could have been a sailor, could have been a cook, a real life lover, could have been a book. simple as a kettle, steady as a rock. I could be here and now. I would be, I should be, but how? I could have been one of these things first. I could have been one of these things first. I could have been your pillar, could have been your door. I could have stayed beside you, could have stayed for more. I could have been your statue, could have been your friend.
Your statue.
A whole long lifetime could have been the end. I could be oh so true. I would be, I should be, through and through. I could have been one of these things first. I could have been one of these things first.
Wow, that was crisp.
Beautiful.
Could have been a whistle, could have been a flute, a real life giver, could have been a boot. I could have been a signpost, could have been a clock, as simple as a kettle, steady as a rock. Could be even here. I would be, I should be, so near. I could have been one of these things first. I could have been one of these things first.
Well, I like that.
Isn't that lovely? What'd you
It's a
think
great
of that,
song.
Nick?
Oh, I love it. This song reminds me of the movie Serendipity. It's one of my favorite romantic comedies of all time. John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale, and
Beckinsale.
A couple of songs in it sound a lot like this. And the other thing I wanted to say, it reminds me of Nielsen a bit in the songwriting.
Very good. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that beautiful piano work was done by a guy named Paul Harris. On the bass was Ed Carter, and Mike Kowalski was on the drums with him. Such a
great song.
What is so lovely about it? It's so gentle and upbeat, and I love the title. You could say one of these things, but he adds that one word at the end, first. I could have been one of these things first. The implication is my life has evolved and here I am. But if you think about it, I could have been a this and I could have been a that first before I am what I am now. And it's a lovely conceit, a lovely poetic idea.
He sings that note, then holds it. That's hard to do without going off key. Did you ever notice that? Yes. He did it really well.
Yes.
But I wish he would have enunciated a little bit better.
Yeah, he does have this kind of mumbly kind of style, but it's kind of that gives the mood to his songs. What I thought it sounded a little like, too, was very early Cat Stevens. I thought, if you listen to Monobone Jacket and some of the stuff before Tea for the Tillerman and that, it sounds like it could have been a Cat Stevens kind of a song. But it's such a lovely, upbeat song. And, there aren't many, many super upbeat songs with him. They're always kind of highly imaginative, fanciful journeys into perception and things like that. And he has some amazing titles to his song and work, but it wasn't that a lovely song. Just a joy to listen to. It was really nice.
And I love the way when they had that kind of quasi-piano solo, how they really made it crisp. Really nice, crisp sound.
Yeah, the production on it was really tasty. Anyway, what did you guys think of One of These Things First by Nick Drake? It's
so
wonderful.
Sad.
You got to check out his albums. They're so good. There's only 3 of them, but my God, if you love folk and rock and early British 70s acoustic music, a lot of it, you'd love Nick Drake, and he's just a brilliant lyricist. Anyhow, leave us your comments and let us know. Now, the second song we're going to do is I think it's my favorite song by Nick Drake.
I know this one.
It is a powerful, moody, surreal journey towards some mystical place where he's going to see a figure called the Riverman and ask these personal questions about stuff. This song is so beautiful lyrically and poetically. And what's different on this album, on this song, is that there's a lot of orchestration. And it's totally different than the sound of either him doing his only guitar work or with a small combo. This one has been really produced beautifully, and it adds so many layers, and I know you're going to enjoy it. So here it is. This one is from 5 Leaves Left, his first album from 1969.
Okay, so I got to tell you guys, I asked Frank, what's 5 Leaves Left come from? Where does it come from, Frank?
It turned out when I went to look it up, apparently it's the last 5 leaves of zigzag paper in his rolling papers to roll a joint. So he said, I guess he counted the last, he was wondering how many he had left.
Who does that? I mean,
and he made a title out of it, 5 Leaves Left. That's a wonderful title. But that's the kind of imagination Nick Drake has. He has this great eye for finding this exquisite detail. But let's get into this one. Get ready. This one is a powerful, moody tune. Here it is, Riverman.
Betty came by on her way, said she had a word to say about things today and fallen leaves. Said she hadn't heard the news, hadn't had the time to choose way to lose, but she believes. Gonna see the riverman, gonna tell him all I can about the plan for lilac time. If he tells me all he knows about the way his river flows and all night shows in summertime.
Interesting note there. Nice.
Betty said she prayed today for the sky to blow away, or maybe stay. She wasn't sure. For when she thought of summer rain calling for her mind again, she lost the pain and stayed for more.
Wow.
Gonna see the riverman,
Likes doing that with that.
gonna tell him all I can about the band. Feeling free. If he tells
Love that
me
note.
all he knows about the way his river flows, I don't suppose it's meant for me.
Note is so nice, that
It is.
chord.
Oh, different.
Oh, how they come and go. Oh, how they come and go.
Got some weird flashes.
What you think, Nick?
Well, to me, he kind of took off where Donovan left off. It's kind of like, man,
That's a good comparison.
He migrated, and then right there at the end, I heard for some reason Buffalo Springfield.
You know who I was going to say? Neil Young.
Yes.
When Neil Young does like off of Harvest, when he's got those orchestrated songs on Harvest, you know, like
Yes.
A Man Needs a Maid, where it's just his voice, this sad, soft voice counterposed against this orchestra,
Yeah.
you know, and it really has this power. I mean, he feels like the lost boy, like a little lost boy looking for this world where he can get some clarity or some.
That song
wisdom.
could have been a soundtrack for a kind of a dark kind of, but yet hopeful movie. You know, I don't know what.
Great
but
call about Donovan, and you're right. The Buffalo Springfield too. I mean, they had a lot of moody things too.
I heard something that was like, whoa, that's why I kind of laughed. It was like, wow, that sounded like Buffalo Springfield.
but that's when the whole idea of Neil Young hit me, because I realized like Harvest is so different
sense,
because
yeah.
a lot of that album has got orchestra music. It's usually just him on a guitar, but he's got this backing orchestra which gives a different mood to the whole thing, and that's what this sound. I wonder if this even
I'll be honest
influenced
with you,
Neil
I've
Young.
never, about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, Frank played me a couple of cuts of this gentleman, Nick Drake. And have you guys heard of him? Did you guys hear
There's
of
a
him?
lot of people I know who knew about him long before I did, and then I did the
Wow.
research on him. I've seen some videos about him, and my God, apparently he was really making a huge impact when he died, and he had like a cult following that rediscovered him in the late 70s, and all of a sudden his reputation was coming back to life, and now these albums are treasured as lost jewels. I mean, as
Wow.
jewels in the music world, by a sad and tragic artist who never met his fulfillment as a completed artist in his lifetime. But boy, did he leave us these magnificent, beautiful jewels of songs.
Really pretty.
If you've never heard any of his stuff, please check it
And
out.
you guys know, both Frank and I, as we were listening to that song, certain notes just hit us. I mean, they were really like, they just made my body kind of go into chills.
That's right. The way he shifts. That's what's so beautiful about Riverman. It goes to these, because of the orchestra work with the violins and those and the cellos in there, they hit different points where suddenly you're surprised
Yeah.
by the chord structure of everything. It's
Now,
just wow.
I mean, I don't know if he was the one who made those notes or whoever produced the album did that, but whatever, it was great.
Sure, hope you enjoyed.
Well done.
Hope you enjoyed Riverman, and hope you enjoyed What of These Things First, two of at least 24 to 28 great songs from the tragic artist and iconic 50, 60 years after his death, Nick Drake. Check him out. Leave us your comments. Let us know what you thought. And if you like what you heard, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. We'd love to have you be a part of our group. We care for your ears, and all our subscribers, we thank you again so much.
Thank you, guys. Be safe. Looking forward to the fall weather coming through here in Arizona. Finally, it's starting to cool down. Even though cooling down today is 80 degrees. But trust me, it was like 70 yesterday. And when I left Frank after the World Series, I was actually cold, when I got in the car. So there you go.
All right. We're finally going to enjoy some fall weather. We hope you have a great coming into the fall season. Have some beautiful weather, beautiful times with family and friends. And we thank you again for joining us today. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Nick and Knarf.
Signing off, guys. We love you.
Ciao, Bambini. Peace out to all.